Now, on the column I, it says finished goods X. So this is the X value, which is calculating as a batch number. Batch number meaning how many how many 246 of the 56,449 uh, is going to be needed to create a 246 default unit of Ferrero. And this is needed. This X value here, the finished goods X. This value is calculated as the batch value for the finished goods in the BOM, which is right here. So, for example, we mentioned that it's going to be 229.5. In the BOM, it's saying that you require, right, an X calculation of 229.5. So it's 229.5 multiplied by the default um, volume on the ingredients, and that gives you your run calculation. This is basically your BOM requirement or run out forecast, right? It's it's going to calculate against what you already have. Okay. Um, so for example, here, let's just take a boxes of carton, and let's say 2, 3, 6, 2. Right. So let's say in the carton boxes, the requirement for your lead time, right? Keep in mind lead time is just always going to be calculating lead time. The requirement on lead time, your lead time is 5 days, and that's saying how far out are you looking. And let me just clean this up real quick. So the requirement at lead time, let me just make this 0. Basically saying that you have your finished goods requirement at lead time, right? This is your finished goods, and maybe they should be removed, but I like to put it this way as a point of reference to answer the why, right? The questions of why, how. Um, Again, so now we're back at the lead time. So at lead time, it's saying that on the February 19th, you're going to have a right? A demand of 2,822, which you can see here, right? Now, the safety stock. I want to mention the safety stock on hand on the inventory. This is one of the requirement that was mentioned. I believe if I go back, this is a requirement. The alert threshold. This is requirement number 5, right? So you want to have a alert threshold. That's basically how much volume that you want to maintain. Hard volume, okay? Hard volume on a component. And this hard volume is actually taken from the raw materials info, which is here hard coded. And we'll talk about this raw materials info tab in a bit, but I want to focus here for now. So now earlier we saw that it's 2822.50 as the initial requirement, but why did it increase to 4322? But that's because you want to have your safety stock on top of your requirement. You never want to go below that, right? So anytime you go below that, it takes into account and then it recalculates what your delta uh, against your safety stock and what your requirement. So then it adds it sums it up. So now this inventory on hand is taken from the inventory tab, the finished goods. I'm sorry, the materials inventory tab. That's where the inventory on hand is calculated, right? Now the order is that's on the materials open PO, Now I want to show you this. I want to show this because I think this is pretty fun when I'm calculating this. So let's say cardboard box, right? I'm just gonna add it here. Cardboard box, and it's going to arrive on. Well, actually, as a matter of fact, there's already one there. Anyway, 20th. Anyway, so it's still negative with that inventory, the 2400. So let's say you have 2400 coming in, right? And you're still short, and you have another order, or you want to order an additional 2400. You know what? Let's make it 5000, right? So you haven't received. You always want to make sure that you're receiving it. You're calculating the receipt, and then when I say that is that if you receive out of 5000, you receive 2500, then it calculates 2500 is the balance that is going to arrive on the 20th of February, and that's how it's calculated here. The 20th of February, you're gonna have an additional 2500, but you're only seeing 85 because you already have that demand consumption. But if I was gonna say, you know, um, I never received anything out of this 5000, but it's expected to arrive on the 20th of February, then that 5000 minus whatever the demand was on the February, it gets calculated, and then now it goes back to consuming. If you were to continue going to the right, it consumes it again. You can have another requirement. You can have another requirement on the February 23 based on your forecasted consumption and your finished goods that is calculated against the BOM tab that is pushing requirements into the materials requirement tab, right? Um, so from here, this is always going to be rolling. So keep in mind that your component is always going to be rolling because this is calculated based on the days. So if it's today plus 5 days far out, so it's going to be rolling, right? But if I was to increase this, let's say if I was to increase this to 15 days, right? It's going to tell you 15 days from the 14th of February is going to be March 1st. Let's validate that. March 1st. Let me see. March 1st. There's something wrong with this. I think this is because it's calculating today, days. Oh, yeah, it is right. Yeah. So it basically is taking out calculation, and it's saying how many you need. Oh yeah, I forgot because of it's plus plus safety stock. Let's say safety stock is 0. Um, is going to say March 1st is there. It's very very close, right? Let me give you an exact value here. March 1st, 17318. 17318. 15 days out. Okay. So this is how the BOM is calculated. And again, uh, manipulate only the blue items. And then should you need the requirement to add more calculations here, all you have to do is just copy that here and then just drag it. That's all you gotta do.